How you doing, everyone? Welcome back. Well, let me ask you something here. Would you vote for somebody who trashes your country every chance they get? Some of you would, maybe. I mean, I don't know about necessarily some of the people watching this video, but yeah, some would. Some people will. They have before. You know why? Because, this country is just awful. We're a nation in decline. That it's a sick nation, and, whatever. That's why we need to make America great again. When exactly was that time that you want to go back to? Huh? When was that time that you want to go back to? I don't want to go back to any time. No, don't get me wrong. I think the 80s were a great time. Then again, I was a kid, loved it. I don't want to go back to that. Everybody loves their nostalgic times, right? And it's okay to be nostalgic. I liked certain things about the 80s that and certain things I would definitely like to have back. We had better music back then, for one. Certain things I would definitely not like to have back. Did you see some of the things that we wore back then? No, we don't want any of that back. Anyway, that's beside the point. I'm off on a tangent, like I'm known to do at times. Why would you talk about how terrible this country is, and then, you know what, this country is awful, and that's why I need your support? You know what? I don't really like that message all too well. And most Americans don't like that message all too well. Because we know that we have a great nation. Now, is it as great as it could be? No, it's not. Never has been. Probably never will be. We haven't always lived up to the promise. But we're moving forward, and as long as we're moving forward, I think that's the best we can ask for. Keep making progress. Keep making progress. Keep pushing forward. Don't go backwards. I mean, what is this time that you want to go back to? I don't know, some people have this idyllic fantasy of the 1950s where everything's just like Leave It to Beaver, and, Ward goes and does whatever it is that he does at, whatever job he does, and June stays home and takes care of the house. And you know what? That's great if it works for you. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that kind of lifestyle at all. But you've got the perfect family, with the two boys. You've got your one son, he's friends with Eddie Haskell, kind of a troublemaker, and your other one, he's, well, typical boy, right? And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with Leave It to Beaver. I happen to enjoy the show, actually. But that time in America, was it really great? Oh, I don't know. We had civil unrest. We had, things that you wouldn't see based on, Father Knows Best and Leave It to Beaver and Ozzie and Harriet. That's not what the real world was. I mean, we had Dwight Eisenhower sending National Guard troops into schools so that kids could go to school. Yeah. we had federal marshals escorting a 6-year-old girl to school, Ruby Bridges. Was that a great time for America? In some ways, yes. But was it great for those people? Of course not. Not even close. Not even close. I'll tell you what, though, Ruby Bridges. That's a story that, in fact, I'll probably go into that story at another time. Because I could do a whole video on her. But is America great? Yes. Is it as great as it could be? No. Has it ever been as great as it could be? No. Can we make it as great as it can be? At some point, maybe. At some point. You know, moving forward, offering more people opportunities, including more people, you know, less discrimination, more voting rights. That's making America greater, not great again, because it doesn't have to be made great again. Now, some would argue that, you know, America has never been great because we've never lived up to the promise. And here's where I'm going to argue with you on that. Because our founders had the wisdom to know that they didn't have it right. They had the idea and they put it into motion. But they knew that it wasn't perfect. And that's why they wrote into the Constitution the means of amending that Constitution, the means of fixing what was wrong. They gave us the means of abolishing the slavery that they didn't abolish. They gave us the means of giving the right to vote to people that didn't have the right to vote in their time. Back then it was wealthy white landowners, and that wealthy white male landowners. You know? So, you know, now it's, oh yeah, and back then it was over the age of 21. Well, now we have, no matter what race you are, you're allowed to vote. And women are allowed to vote. And you don't have to be a property owner to vote. And you don't have to pay poll taxes. And 18-year-olds have the right to vote. So, yeah, voting rights have expanded over the years. And that should continue. But the people who want to make America great again want to restrict voting rights. Because, you know, the whole, well, we're not a democracy, we're a republic. Sure. As if the two are mutually exclusive. But, again, that's another video for another time. I may have already done one on that. But even if I have, I could do another one on it. Yeah. Stop telling us how terrible our country is. And then not providing any solutions as far as how to fix it. Your only solutions is deport people. That's it. That's your only solution. Let's deport people. Mass deportations. I tell you what, we used to be a welcoming country, and we should be again. We should welcome people. And I know separation of church and state, but for the Christians among us, what did Jesus say on the matter? So, let's stop trying to make America great again when that means going backwards to a time when things were not as great as they are now. And instead, let's just build on the greatness that we keep achieving and make it even better still. We're not perfect, but we're getting better. Right? And it's taking more time than most of us want it to take. But it's getting there. And let's not go backwards. Let's keep going forward, because that's the only way to truly make America great. I'll see you next time.